At ICCU, to make a difference, it takes just one connection. A friendly face, an open ear, a helping hand. And then something amazing happens. We find out that we're better together. This is what Idaho Central does in our communities every day. We help our members with the small things and big dreams. This is what believing in you is all about. Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
It may have been a new job or starting a new business. Maybe you were looking for a better place to raise a family. It's possible you were returning home to the place you love, to Idaho. Whatever your reason for coming, 40 years or 4 months ago, Lithia Ford of Boise wants you to know you're welcome here. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome on in, Bronco Nation News Live. It's Mondays with Mallory. My name is BJ Rains. That's John Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM, The Ticket, host of Idaho Sports Talk with Mike Prater, 3 to 6 weekdays. You can hear them this afternoon. That KTIK app, KTIK.com, all the different ways to listen. And Johnny, we got the new camera, we got the new mic. We're rolling out some new technology today, man. It's hard to make you look good, but you look pretty good, man. How's it going?
All these new cameras in our studio here at KTIK. I don't know how I'm liking this, man. There's a lot of cameras around, man. No nose picking, right? You gotta watch your back all the time. But this is definitely upgrading our segment here on Mondays, BJ. I didn't have to come in and set up my laptop. The audio was now professional sound. So what do we got? About 20, 30 minutes here? Let's get the ball rolling.
Looking forward to this, and thanks to our friend JP for setting all this up and behind the glass, working hard to do this. So appreciate John Patrick for that. And we got a lot to talk about today, Johnny. 14 in a row. We keep saying, well, we'll see next week if we're still talking about the win streak. And sure enough, we are. If folks have comments or questions, they can get those in either on the KTIK or Bronco Nation News social media channels where this is broadcasting live. You can get your comments in, your questions in for Johnny or I, and we'll get those on the screen during the show here, interact live with some fans. But 14 games in a row, Johnny. Marcus Shaver, as you call him, Big Shot Shaver, does it again. Hits the three-pointer with 1.9 seconds left. Boise State wins it in overtime at Fresno State, 68-63 last Friday night. 14 in a row. The train rolls on for the Broncos, John.
Isn't that crazy? This town, I've been saying this. I think you have as well. Enjoy the journey, right? And this town and this team and this fan base just get to keep enjoying this journey, BJ Rains, and who knows how and when it's going to come to an end. But next up, you Thursday night, right? What's that in Laramie on Thursday, BJ?
Yep. Yep, Thursday in Laramie. They got a big one tonight first. Colorado State is at Wyoming tonight, so that has a little bit of interest for Boise State fans. Boise State gets to sit and relax for a few days. And, yeah, Thursday night in Laramie. I'm looking forward to heading there, and that's going to be another big one because after that, the schedule lightens up a little bit with San Jose and UNLV and stuff. So, yeah, one more big one on Thursday to try to keep this thing rolling.
And, BJ, this team's tired, right? That grind, 5 games, 5 states, 11 days. They go 5-0. They're continuing it now. This team needs this week, right? They needed last weekend, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, that's almost a week off in the basketball world, and that's a big week off, man. So I think Leon might have been mentioning a little bit about that in his press conference following the win on Friday, but just this is a time they can rest up a little bit. I don't think you push them super hard in practice these next few days. I think this is a reward for being 16-4, 8-0 in league, and just the cognizance that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. What happened last year when they won 13 in a row? I believe they finished 6-8. That's not going to happen again with this team. This coaching staff needs to do everything it can. If that's not going to happen with this squad, BJ, staff's got to do everything it can to keep these guys ready and fresh come end of April, and certainly in Vegas for the conference tournament. You need to be fresh.
You got to update your stats there, Johnny. 17-4 now. I know it's hard to believe. 17-4 is now
17-4.
the record. 8-0 in Mountain West play. It's pretty crazy when you think about, Johnny. This team was 3-4. 3-4. They had lost to Cal Bakersfield, scoring 39 points. They lost to St. Louis in overtime, shooting 12 of 26 from the foul line. Devonair Dutrieve gets kicked off the team. It's rock bottom, Johnny. Who would have ever thought 2 months later? 2 months later, they went undefeated in December, undefeated in January, and here we are on February 1st talking about a team that has not lost since November 30th. That's pretty improbable.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, what's the only other team that could say that right now? Is it Auburn, who has the longest
number one team in the country? Yeah,
number one team in the country. They're the only team that can sit there and say it's been on a longer streak, and it hasn't been a bunch of cream puffs. It hasn't been a bunch of lollygaggers that they're playing, BJ. Boise State 4 wins in the quad 1, which is a big thing with the net. And I apologize on the 16-4 because according to the net, the NCAA considers Boise State with the 16-4 record.
They don't count Montana Tech. That's right.
That's probably what it was, right?
It is, yep.
But they are 17-4. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, in the quad 1, Boise State's 4-0. Okay, have not had a quad 1 loss. To put that into perspective, they are the only team essentially in the top 32 of the net ranking that is undefeated in quad 1 minimum 4 games. That's it. Like, they're not losing to good teams. I think the Bakersfield hiccup, I'm just going to leave that in the hiccupville, right? That doesn't mean anything to me anymore if I'm covering this team, if I'm deciding on this team's tournament chances. That was a long time ago. The team looks entirely different. They have 4 quad 1 wins. They've won on the road. They've won like 5 games in 11 days. I think you can forget that and just kind of cross that off the resume. I don't think it's going to kill them anymore, BJ.
7 during this winning streak, Johnny, you mentioned playing good teams. 7 of the 14 wins are top 75 wins, according to KenPom. So you're talking about 7 wins, 4 in a row over top 55 teams. So the last 4 games, all 4 of those teams were ranked 55 or better at KenPom in the net, and the 3 of those were on the road. And Washington State did help out last night. They had a huge win over Colorado, which bumped Washington State up into the quad 1 range for Boise State. So that's why they went from 3-0 in quad 1 games to 4-0 in quad 1 games. They're 3-3 in quad 2, Johnny. So they're 7-3. They look at quad 1, but they also kind of group quad 1 and 2 together. 7-3 in the first 2 quadrants. 10 games in the first 2 quadrants is pretty impressive there as well. And sure. They're winning on the road. They're winning at tough places to play. There's fans, and as I said, there's not a lot of 300. You look at last year's 13-game winning streak. It was all 300 ranking teams, New Mexico, Air Force, San Jose. You're not getting much of that this team. I mean, you're talking even some of the other teams, Tulsa 150, Nevada 123, New Mexico's up to 154. I mean, even some of the quote unquote easy wins are against, teams still in the middle half of college basketball. So Boise State's rankings continue to rise. Johnny, you mentioned 32. Boise State is now number 32 in the net, and they're number 31 at KenPom. Ironically enough, Boise State woke up Saturday morning, Johnny, after the win against Fresno, ranked number 35 in both categories. So without even playing on Saturday and Sunday, they picked up 4 more spots at KenPom, and they picked up 3 more spots in the net. So they start February ranked 31 at KenPom, 32 in the net. And I know folks say, what's all this mean, Johnny? All these numbers, these rankings.
It's still January, kinda.
It means they're in a pretty good spot, though. If they were to finish the season 31 at KenPom and 32 in the net, they would most likely be in the NCAA tournament, correct?
Here's the thing. If Selection Sunday was yesterday, they would have been in. Yeah.
Comfortably. I mean, you look at Joe Lunardi's last bracket. Joe Lunardi's last bracket was Friday, so that was before the Fresno State win. He had him as a 10 seed. Yep. I mean, Joe Lunardi already has Boise State up. I mean, they're going to be in that 8-9 line here pretty soon. Well, how about a Gonzaga-Boise State second-round game in Portland? How about that? How about
is that the
Boise
site this year? Is it Portland?
Portland is the closest site. Yep. You've got San Diego is also a site out west. But
Boise, ideally, I can't believe we're talking about this. It's 6 weeks away. But just throw in there the best possible situation for Boise State is getting sent to Portland. No question.
That would be, and if they could get in that 8-9 game, you have a chance to win the first game. Maybe you get a Gonzaga or somebody in round 2. That'd be kind of fun. And sure. I know it's crazy to talk about, Johnny, but
man, we can't help it, dude.
It's realistic at this point.
I know that's what we do in sports radio type of thing, man.
And I know Mike Prater would be saying stop.
Yes.
But and he probably will on the show today. Try to keep you from doing that. As Randy Stevens says here, Johnny, one game at a time is what Randy says. But I want to go back to that play. Marcus Shaver Jr. again does it again. I got the play here. We'll put it on the screen.
Don't have to force it.
Marcus Shaver Jr. The great play call. He gets the pump fake. There's the.
On the way. Got it! It's a tie game.
What do you make, Johnny, of the play call from Tim Duryea and how it worked out?
Yeah, Duryea I saw is getting a lot of credit on it, and if you look at the design, people are smart who are crediting him. It's probably a play they've had in their pocket. I haven't seen them run that before. It's an odd play, BJ, because the inbound is in the corner. It was almost like a soccer penalty kick inbound. You never see the ball inbounded from there. So maybe Fresno had a hard time adjusting to that position because they don't practice against it. They obviously got lost in the scrum there. And as clutch a player as we've seen in college basketball this year, gets the ball, has the cognizance, I'll use that word again, on the pump fake there to get himself an open look. And with Shaver now, you're expecting this. I think the entire Bronco Nation watching this, it was one of those shots when that left his fingertip, you're like, dude, that's in. That's in, man. And it keeps doing it. And it's fun to watch with this team. Enjoy the journey, right?
Yeah. A little backstory on the play call from Tim Duryea. I had a chance after the game in Fresno to talk to him, Johnny. Basically, he has a binder or a notebook of some sort with some old plays over his 40 years of coaching that he will periodically just look at and kind of refresh his mind on some plays and jots down when it worked or when he used it. He just happened on Friday morning while sitting at the hotel killing some time in Fresno, looked through the book and that play stuck to him. And he saw that play. He had run it several years prior at a previous stop and just kind of stuck in his mind. And when 4.9 seconds got on the clock, that play instantly popped into his head. And he said, that's the one we're running. The only problem is that play is not designed to be run on the end line. It's designed to be run on the sideline. And they thought the ball was going to be on the sideline. And they're walking out to the court and he realizes it's on the end line. And I think he's like, well, oh, crap. But he didn't change the call. They stuck with it. Maybe it confused Fresno a little bit with the skip pass there. You had 3 options, which is what I loved about the pass, because you had, as you see there, Max Rice coming off the screen. And then you had what they originally thought was going to happen, Johnny. Let's face it, it's already happened 2 times in the last 3 games. Wouldn't the one guy you want to guard, maybe with 2 players, be Marcus Shaver Jr.? Like how Marcus Shaver Jr. got open, I have no idea. But the original thought was that Marcus Shaver was going to go there. And if you look, Tyson Degenhardt popping out for the 3 was what they expected to happen. They wanted to get it to Shaver. They expected him to be covered, and then they expected Tyson Degenhardt, after setting the pick, to pop out and get the 3 ball, but it turned out perfect for them. Marcus Shaver gets it, the pump fake, and I agree with you. Once he shot the ball, I don't think nobody had any thought that it wasn't going to go in. And then I had no thought that I figured they were for sure going to win in overtime too. When you make that shot, you get the momentum, and they go to overtime, and they got up 8 in overtime, and Fresno State actually came back. But that's 4 in a row now, Johnny, too, where it's come down to the wire, and that's been something too in previous years under Leon Rice. Or some of the criticisms, Johnny, is that they can't finish games, they can't close games. The late game strategy from Leon Rice sometimes gets criticized. But during this winning streak, they've won a lot of close games. And there's been a lot of key plays like that, and key timeouts or non-timeouts. I think this coaching staff deserves some credit for what's going on here.
Yeah, I think it's the winning coaching staff in the Mountain West right now on a coach of the year type of a platform. I don't think you can disagree with that. They still haven't lost in this league, and you illustrated some of the significant victories they've had in this league too. So no, they're doing a terrific job. Leon's got this thing dialed in. The players, I mean, you talk to these guys like I do. The players are bought in 100% on this mentality, this defensive first philosophy. Nobody cares about who leads the team in scoring. Nobody cares right now that Shaver is the one taking and making the final shot. That's his shot now on this team. That's part of his role. And I think basketball coaches are kind of on this constant quest to define roles. And it's tough to get the kids to always buy in. I mean, Najee Smith, okay? You know his junior college background, right?
First team All-American.
First team All-American JUCO kid. He probably didn't think he was going to go someplace and come off the bench and accept it. But he has. He's completely accepted it. He's bought in just like any other player. He knows his role. We know some games he's going to be asked to do more than others, and it's working. Like, you got to find the right kids. That's a big thing. I know we want to see how big and fast and athletic and gifted they are shooting the ball and all this, but I think there's a lot to be said for finding the right kind of kids for your program. Maybe you can bring up Devonair Dutrieve on that a little bit too. Dutrieve, it was clear early in the season, BJ, we saw a game together. We're like, dude, it looks like he's sulking on the bench. Like, you could just tell his body language. You don't have any of that on this team, and it's probably one of the reasons why they keep winning, and one of the reasons when the game gets tight, it's a close-knit group. They can circle the wagons a little bit together and get the job done. Good for them, man.
Dustin saying Rice said they made it up on the fly moments earlier, had never run it before. That is true. It was a play that, again, Tim Duryea had used in the past, but they had never run it at Boise State. When he drew it up on the whiteboard, that was the first time anybody at Boise State had seen the play, and they were able to do that. Johnny, I want to talk just about the game a little more, and here's some we'll play some highlights from the game itself. Max Rice getting going. How big is that for this team?
Oh, it's huge, man. I've been thinking there's going to be a game when they need it, where Max is going to step up big and hit some key shots, play good defense, and distribute the ball well. And Fresno was one of those instances. I don't know if they win that game without Max Rice. I don't think they do. So good for Max. He's starting to get his confidence back, and that's all this was for Max, I think. Coming back from the injury, it's tough, and his confidence was shaky a little bit. Basketball and confidence are like peanut butter and jelly, dude. They go together really well. And certainly Max Rice on Friday, that was getting the job done. Yeah, he played well.
That was the big one he just hit right there, the really deep one. Hit from, they called it Jimmer for debt range. Look at this, where he is about 6 feet behind the line, lets it fly. That was the one where he was really feeling it. 13 points in 31 minutes for him. First time all season, Johnny, he hit more than one three-pointer in a game, but he had 3. This was a huge play, though. What do you make? I'm going to pause it here for a second. What'd you make of Orlando Robinson in this game? He had the charges called against him, some of the fouls, but right there he hits the 4-point play on the three-pointer to tie the game. I mean, who would have thought that? The big guy ties the game. You're up 4. It's looking good. 3 minutes to go. Mladen Armouche fouls out, Johnny, and I guess I'll just pause it there for a second and remove this. But you had Robinson doing his thing. You had Tyson Degenhart taking some of the charges that he did. I saw our boy Alex Guerrero saying we need to get a credit card company to give him an NIL deal because he's taking that charge. And he took 5 in that game, I believe. 3 were on Robinson. So that was one storyline. And then again, Mladen Armouche kind of no-showed, right? Didn't score again. I think he only had 2 rebounds, fouled out of the game. If you're looking for, some kind of area where they can still improve, I think a little more consistently maybe from Armouche.
Yeah, well, I mean, that play by Robinson, I mean, that's what, big time players, big time plays, big time games. I hate those fouls, though. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I guess I'm the old guy, they wouldn't have called that. Basketball did not used to call that play. Now they call it all the time. And I know, obviously, Armouche needs to be a little more aware. But, hey, if anybody touches you, go down. And that's like an automatic, immediate call now. Anyway, so that call bugs me a little bit. But Orlando Robinson needs to play better down the stretch as far as, handling the ball. He was turning the ball over on those charge calls. And obviously, Degenhart, this is another box you check of this kid that you love. He just continues to get better, and he's smart, and he's just all kinds of terrific. But, Robinson, I thought maybe he was tired there at the end, too. Sometimes when you have late game charges, you're tired. It's a lazy play. And maybe he fell into that a little bit, but obviously it was all crucial.
Howard saying, I agree, this team was built on character as much as talent. Leon Rice and staff have done an excellent job. Dustin asking a question here, Johnny. Any idea why Pavle Kuzmanovic isn't getting more minutes? They need extra bodies. I think they're still working him back into the mix. He was out for several games with some different ailments. I think they're still trying to work him back into the mix. But I don't. Who would he play for at this point?
Well, Kuz has not seen a second of court time. Correct me if I'm wrong. Since the pick 6, if you will. The last time he was in, he threw a pass about to half court. It got picked off by Wyoming, I believe, and they scored on a
He got 4 minutes. He got 4 minutes at Fresno.
Okay, so he did get in at Fresno. Yeah. I'm good for him. But, Leon's got his rotation. Don't mess with a winning streak. Leon's pressing all the right buttons. And I think what they want to do defensively, I don't know if Kuz brings that to the table. You earn your minutes with this team. Leon says, you're dictating your minutes. And on this team, if you're not going to hit the glass, rebound, and play really good man-to-man defense, I used to love playing zone. You get to be lazy, right? I want to save my energy on D for offense so I can go shoot threes. Leon, this team, you can't do that. Yeah, I mean, you have to work harder on defense than offense. So, no, he's pushing the right buttons. I like where this rotation is. Look, most teams in college basketball, folks, play like 7 or 8 guys. That's it. Even like Duke on a really good year might play 8. You couple 2-3 guys off the bench. That's where college basketball is in right now. These kids are ready to go. They're in really good shape. You get timeouts every 4 minutes on the clock for media, and then coaches each get 4-5 timeouts in a game. These kids are stopping a lot. They're hydrated properly. They can go. Your best players, you want them playing 35, 36, 37 minutes a night, BJ.
Yeah, and with that said, you had Tyson Degenhart play 41 minutes in that game.
That's a lot.
Emmanuel Acott played 43 in that game, and so you talked about them needing the break. It's certainly going to come well. Shaver had 14, Acott 16. I thought Acott in the first half hitting a couple of those huge three-pointers to kind of get them off to a nice start was big. And then we mentioned Max Rice, his best game of the season, 13 points. He had 3 of 6 from three-point range and also had that nice tip in on a putback that he scored in from. So, very impressive. And again, as you said, definitely need the day off. They flew back Saturday morning. They were off Saturday and Sunday. They'll return to practice today in terms of a light practice. And then you have tomorrow and Wednesday they fly to Laramie. And we haven't talked, Johnny, since the last Wyoming game. They turn around, 8-9 days later and play Wyoming again. Obviously, figuring out some way to stop Graham Ike is going to be a huge issue for them. They've got to keep Mladen Armouche out of foul trouble and get more production than no points, 2 rebounds, or whatever he finished with against Fresno. What's your take on this team trying to keep this thing rolling, going to 15? Again, a big one tonight, which I'll be watching. I think a lot of people will be watching Wyoming and Colorado State. And then, all of a sudden they turn around Thursday and get Wyoming. Probably going to be a huge crowd in Wyoming, especially if they beat Colorado State tonight. What's your take on the rematch coming up on Thursday?
Yeah, Wyoming's going to be ready for this. I think Jeff Linder, his staff, Graham Ike, just sitting there. Come on, we want another shot at these guys. We didn't like how the last game ended. We thought we had a shot there. We thought we should have stole that game. We didn't. Okay, we hold serve at home. So I think Wyoming, you're going to get a mega focused Wyoming team. I'll tell you this though. If Boise State gets this one, if they go to Laramie, and Leon's had success there, if they just keep this streak going, go there and win another whatever tight game, however they win it, it really sets up the next 3 games, BJ, San Jose, UNLV, and Air Force. They're 8-0 in the league. So if they get this Wyoming win, that moves 9-0 in conference play, and the next 3 are all winnable games. I mean, this could be 11-1, 12-0 in league after 13 games or 12 games, right? Heading into that 13th game against Utah State, which is a home game on a Saturday. And I'm telling you, if these guys are 11-1 or 12-0 in this league for that Utah State home game Saturday, 6 p.m., that's going to be big time, man. That's going to be a big event in this town. But it sets up with the schedule, BJ. Like, they don't play Colorado State until the last game of the year.
Well, they got to make up the other game, and I, from what it sounds like, I can make you happy. You did not want it to be Super Bowl Sunday. It's not. From what I'm told, maybe that Monday, not Super Bowl Sunday.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, they might do it. That's true, but I think they're supposed to play. Who are they supposed to play? Let's see here. On Tuesday, they're supposed to play Air Force, so they might move the Air Force game up to Monday, maybe, and then play the Colorado State game Wednesday or Thursday that week. Gotcha. So you would just have to miss a road game at Air Force on
the schedule. I mean, the schedule's looking good there. Where it's, I mean, if the collapse is going to come, I mean, it's certainly going to be a collapse because they're going to
have a chance. If they win that Wyoming game, like you said, that'd be 15 in a row, and then you put the next 3 in. I mean, they could be going into that Utah State game on an 18-game winning streak.
Isn't that crazy? Right?
They could literally be like 21-4 or something going into that game.
How big of a national story would they be at that point? Still,
well, they're not at all now. Look at this comment here from Dustin. Look at Dustin's comment on the screen here. He says, "I always dig for national write-ups about Boise after each big win. Nothing after nothing after nothing. What does it take to get a national writer's attention?"
Yeah.
Gary Parrish, Matt Norlander do a great podcast, and they haven't mentioned. In the last 2 podcasts, haven't mentioned Boise State once. And so for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the late games, Johnny, 9 p.m. on Fridays or what, but they haven't been getting a ton of love yet. They haven't.
Yeah.
And I'll be curious with the top 25 rankings that come out here in an hour or two, if they're going to, I don't think they'll be ranked, but I think they'll be right on that cusp and be getting a lot of votes. We'll have to see. But
and there's a lot of good teams out west right now, which isn't typical in my opinion. It feels like there's more good teams. I mean, they're saying the WCCs might get 4 teams in this year. Like, there's a lot of good teams having success. The Pac-12's got 2 teams in Arizona and UCLA, BJ, who I think can play and beat just about anyone. Gonzaga is still the Zags. So Boise State's kind of even getting lost in that regional shuffle, but they keep winning at some point. There's going to be the national story. How about a college game day, basketball college game day at Extra Mile? It probably won't happen because the Mountain West and ESPN aren't, buddies anymore, but wouldn't that be a cool setup?
Maybe at Colorado State, the final day of the regular season, if the title's on the line in Fort Collins. But yeah, it would be more fun to have it in Boise. And how about this, Johnny? You look at the schedule real quick. We got to get out of here. But I mean, there's no game on the schedule aside from maybe at Colorado State in the last game where you look at it and just don't feel like super great about their chances. Like, I know it's crazy to keep looking at this, but there's not like all the big games, San Diego State, Utah State, Colorado State still are all at home. I mean, they only go to Air Force and they go to UNLV as the other 2 road trips. So I think, if you're a betting man, I mean, the streak has to end at some point, maybe Thursday. I mean, Thursday just kind of seems like the logical one. They had this week off. They're playing a team they barely beat last time on the road. And if they lose Thursday at Wyoming, I don't think anybody would fault them or say anything. I mean, it was a great run. turn around on Saturday and start a new streak against San Jose. And somebody did comment, don't forget, buy your tickets for the next home game. The We Win, You Win promotion is back. Let's fill up Extra Mile Arena. Yeah, if you buy a ticket to the game on Saturday against San Jose State, if they win, you get a free ticket to the next home game against UNLV. If they win that, you get a free ticket to the home game against Utah State. They're trying to do what they can to pack this place, Johnny. It should be a lot of fun, and we'll see what happens moving forward here.
Long way to go. Obviously, long way to go, but enjoy the journey. It's been a heck of a ride with this team, and coming off that football 7-5 with no bowl buzzkill. Oh, man, Leon and this basketball team have given Bronco Nation something to chew on. I mean, it's been fun. Could you imagine if this basketball team was Stinky Sullivan right now? How down this town would be with sports? It's the exact opposite. You know, basketball's having its best season. And what have they ever been 9-0 in league before in any league they've been in? Have they ever been 8-0 in league before in any league they've been in? Have to look those numbers up, but this is paving the way to be one of the great seasons in this program's history. And it's fun, man. I like this team.
Yep. And you and Mike Prater will have more talk on this. You'll have Bob Beeler joining you for his segment, JP as well. That'll be 3 to 6 today.
JP is going to join us for a couple of segments. You're going to get all his wonderful insight today, JP.
95.3 FM. Again, KTIK.com, the KTIK app as well. Idaho Sports Talk coming up 3 o'clock today on 95.3 FM. So, John, appreciate your time, Johnny, and always a pleasure, man. And we'll get the February Venmo to you here pretty soon. So, appreciate
It's payday tomorrow.
It is.
Huh?
It's today, February 1st, man.
We'll make it news. Pays on the 1st of the month.
Yep. We pay in advance, too, so we try to keep you locked in. But appreciate it, man. Have a great day. We'll see you on the show today. And, again, big one for Boise State coming up on Thursday. Full coverage all week. KTIK, Bronco Nation.